Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in today. My name is Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. I am coming to you live from Walpole Middle School in Walpole, Massachusetts. Here to bring you live coverage of today's high school varsity baseball contest between the hosting Timberwolves of Walpole High School and the visiting Brookline High Warriors. It's going to be an interesting matchup for Brookline today. The Warriors coming into this game with a record of 3 wins and 8 losses. The first power rankings, the first MIAA power rankings, which decide playoff seeding, their first power rankings of the season came out on Tuesday morning. Brookline sitting outside of the top 32, 38th in the power rankings, so they want a big win bad. And you know, if they can get an upset here, this could be a big opportunity for them to boost their power ranking. Walpole entering this game with a record of 9-1, power ranking of first in Division II. This is a team that is consistently among the best in Division II year in and year out. So even though a lower division, still a big chance to possibly boost the power rankings if Brookline can get the upset win here. Last year, these two teams faced off in Brookline, Walpole getting the win over Brookline in an offensive shootout by a final score of 10-6 on April 30th, 2025. That game quite memorable for Brookline for one positive reason, and that being being a leadoff home run hit in the bottom of the first inning by then senior Elias Brendel. And some fans might remember that, unfortunately, I was not there for that game for what is a very stupid reason that I can look back on and laugh now that it's a year later, which is basically that the night before I had passed out with my phone in my hand, and it fell down the side of my bed in between my bed and my bedside table. And so my alarms didn't wake me up the next day, and I overslept and missed the game, and I felt awful. But you know, shout out to Elias Brendel. He was really cool about the whole thing. He's like, hey, you've been here for a bunch of moments. It's okay if you missed this one. And also, I think, shout out to Devin Chin's dad, who I think was there and still got it, the moment on film. So, you know, a moment I don't feel great about, but I feel less bad about than I did at this time last year. And I'm happy to be here for this one, as this one should be a fun one here today. Really quick, let's go through the starting lineups for the two teams coming into this one. First, for the hosting Walpole High Timberwolves. Leading off for Walpole today, the shortstop, number 1, Shane Harrington. Batting second and playing second and wearing number 2, Ryan McDonald. Batting third, the catcher, number 3, Drew Cantrell. Batting cleanup, the center fielder, number 5, Cole Pileski. Batting fifth, the designated hitter, number 13, Luca DiGuilio. Batting sixth, the left fielder, number 10, Jack English. Batting seventh, the first baseman, number 6, Cole Blakely. Batting eighth, the third baseman, number 11, Michael Federer. Batting ninth, the right fielder, number 23, Jack Benner. And starting on the mound, not in the batting order, but just starting on the hill for Walpole today, number 12, Landon Lipset. That's the starting lineup for Walpole. Now let's take a look at the starting lineup for the visiting Brookline High Warriors. Leading off for Brookline today, the left fielder, number 9, Connor Fitzgerald. Batting second, the third baseman, number 2, Hugh Bollinger. Batting third, the catcher, number 13, Felix Hom. Batting cleanup, the first baseman, number 4, Thaddeus Gameau. Batting fifth, the shortstop, number 5, Jimmy DiPaolo. Batting sixth, the right fielder, number 3, Eli Hoffman. Batting seventh, the center fielder, number 24, Wally Lawrence. Batting 8th, the designated hitter, number 12, Harris Hodgson. Batting 9th, the second baseman, number 30, Danny Carballo. And starting on the mound for Brookline today, number 22, Q Miller. Head coach of the Brookline High baseball team is Brendan O'Connor, with assistant coaches Colin King, Ryan Nealon, and Will McKay. All right, the Walpole players coming out onto the field for the warm-ups here. Before we start things off with the top of the first inning, Brookline will have the top of their order due up, Fitzgerald, Bollinger, and Hom. Interesting to note in the batting order, a couple of slight alterations for Brookline. Bollinger and Hom kind of swapping spots. Hom has been batting second and Bollinger third for the past few games. They swapped back to what they had a little bit earlier with Bollinger second and Hom third. Also swapping Gameau and DiPaolo. They've kind of been flipping back and forth between the 4 and 5 spots. Gameau batting cleanup today and DiPaolo in the 5-hole. Wally Lawrence moved down one spot from 6 to 7 in the batting order. And Eli Hoffman getting the start in right field today. He's mostly played left field this year. He's had a couple of spots at DH and also a number of pitching appearances. Today getting the start out in right. Max Kaufman not in the starting lineup today. You know, might be a coach's decision, might be that he's a little banged up in some way or some other reason. Certainly hope it's not the latter. Certainly hope the young man's okay. But we'll see how this iteration of Brookline's batting order handles things against Walpole here today. All right, warm-up throws are done. So now we get things started here in the top of the first. Leading off for Brookline, the left fielder, number 9, Connor Fitzgerald. First pitch of the ball game, going to miss high and away for ball 1. Fitzgerald on the season so far, as you can see in the bottom center of your screen, a batting average of 176, an on-base percentage of 349, as that one, I believe, missed as well for ball 2. Slugging percentage of 265, a team high 8 walks, as he takes strike 1 there. Fitzgerald also tied for the team lead in runs scored with 8 to go along with 2 steals and 2 RBI. That's a high ball, I believe ball 3, 3-1 the count. As you can see with the stats, if there's 1 asterisk next to the player, they have sole ownership of first place on the team in that category, as that'll be strike 2 to make a full count. But if there's 2 asterisks next to a stat, that means they are tied with a teammate for the team lead in that category. Payoff pitch from Lipset, swing and a miss, and Fitzgerald goes down on strikes. Lipset powering in the fastball on the payoff pitch. Now batting, the third baseman, number 2, Hugh Bollinger. First pitch, Bollinger pops it up. And that's going to be a can of corn for the shortstop, Shane Harrington. A quick 1 pitch out for out number 2. Two down, and up comes the catcher, number 13, Felix Hom. First pitch going to miss, ball 1. Hom so far this season, batting average and slugging percentage identical at 270, on base of 325. Skies this pitch into foul territory. First baseman tracking it. Had come in a bit, but he does make the catch. And after a bit of a battle on the first batter, it's quick work for Lipset and the Walpole defense as they put the Brookline bats down in order. We move to the bottom of the first. No score here in Walpole. Due up for the Timberwolves will be Harrington, McDonald, and Cantrell. 1, 2, 3 in the batting order, and also 1, 2, 3 in their jersey numbers. Kind of interesting, fun little coincidence there, and also a nice little throwback to the original purpose of jersey numbers, is when they were first introduced by the Yankees back in the 1920s, I believe. Either the 20s or the 30s or something like that. The jersey numbers did represent the batting order. I believe it was the 20s. Starting on the mound for Brookline today, Q Miller. He's made 4 previous appearances on the bump for Brookline, all of them starts. He's got a 1-1 win-loss record. He's pitched 23 1/3 innings so far with a 2.10 ERA, 1.59 whip, and 19 strikeouts. Been one of the steadier pitchers for Brookline this year in what has been a very up and down year so far. Recently had a very valiant 6 2/3 innings performance in Brookline's walk-off win against Lincoln Sudbury last week. And then before that had kind of an up and down appearance against Framingham in what turned into a marathon 11-inning game that took 2 days to complete. Interestingly enough, Miller did appear as a reliever in last year's game against Walpole. He pitched 1 2/3 innings in that game, giving up 1 earned run on 4 hits and 2 walks with 3 strikeouts. So not the most stellar of performances, not a disaster or anything, and I think the team was already behind at that point. But Miller would certainly like a stronger and longer performance on the mound here today. Leading off for the Timberwolves, the shortstop, number 1, Shane Harrington. Miller's first pitch catches the high corner for strike 1. Unfortunately, I don't have any stats for Walpole, as I did miss last year's game, and on Game Changer, all they had were jersey numbers, not names, so I don't know how anyone batted in last year's game. That one going to skip in the dirt. Ball 1. We got a note in the live chat helping me out. Jay Rothman let me know that Max Kaufman, the reason he's not here today is that he's off visiting colleges. Definitely a worthwhile reason for an absence. Certainly wish him the best of luck in finding the best place for him to go after he's finished here in Brookline. That one gonna miss high and in for ball 3. Miller having a little bit of trouble with control. Missed a couple of them low in the dirt, and then that one flying the opposite direction, going way high. A hard grounder here, snagged by DePaulo. Pumps, throws, not going to be in time. Throw is wild, but Felix Hom with a good backup job there to hold it to what I would score as an infield single. Harrington displaying the wheels. You know, I might double check it just to be extra sure on Game Changer later tonight, but that throw wasn't getting there in time, even if it was on the mark. So I put Harrington down for a single on that one. Bollinger cheating in on the infield grass as the first pitch is inside for ball 1. At the plate is the second baseman, number 2, Ryan McDonald. Both teams have a player wearing number 2, batting in the 2 hole here today. As that one going to miss outside for ball 2. Bollinger playing in to try and cover any plays that might try and advance Harrington to second. That one skips in the dirt for ball 3. Miller struggling to find his control early in this one, as he's now thrown 6 balls outside the zone. Goes for a pickoff throw, and it's wild. Harrington freely takes second, and he's going to try for third. Gameau, a long throw down to third. Close, but Harrington slides in safe. So he moves to third on the E1 there. Miller trying to go for the pickoff throw, but he kind of sidearms it, and it comes out of his hand early and flies wide. And that one skips in the dirt. Ball 4 for McDonald. Runners now at the corners with nobody out. Walpole off to a good start to the inning, as up comes the catcher, number 3, Drew Cantrell. With no outs, it'll be interesting to see if McDonald tries to take second. And it'll be interesting to see if Brookline even bothers with a throw with a speedster like Harrington just 90 feet away from the plate. But first, Miller has got to find the strike zone as he misses that one for ball 1. And that one misses high for ball 2. Harrington kind of dancing off of third, occupying a spot in Miller's peripheral vision. And Miller off his game to start this one, as he's now thrown 7 consecutive balls, 10 total outside of the zone this inning. That one hits the zone. Just his 3rd strike thrown so far this inning. And he can't follow it up, as that one skips in the dirt. Back-to-back walks for Walpole as they load the bases. For the cleanup hitter, the center fielder, number 5, Cole Pileski. And this is exactly what you put your cleanup hitter in this spot for. You put him in this spot in the lineup for the express purpose of potentially being up with a lot of runners on base, and can't be more than this. First pitch from Miller misses low for ball 1. And even though he's facing the cleanup hitter, Miller can't pitch scared, and he can't let himself continue to lose control. A walk here would bring in a run, and he hits the zone there for strike 1. That one comes in high and in. Ball 2. Skips in the dirt. If there's one positive you can say defensively for Brookline, it's that Felix Hom has been doing a good job blocking the balls in the dirt so far in this inning. This one lifted foul up the right field side, full count. Miller needs an out in the worst way here. Payoff pitch. And he drops it foul just left of the third base line. And we will see another pitch to Pileski. Chases it low, swings and catches air. A huge strikeout for Q Miller. Now batting, the designated hitter, number 13, Luca DiGuilio. Might be pronouncing that wrong if Anyone's more familiar with the pronunciation of that name, let me know. As the first pitch is going to be high for ball one. That one hits the zone, strike one. Miller slowly starting to regain his control here. But not on that one, a low ball two. Another good block behind the dish by Hom. It's a big distance between home plate and the backstop here at Walpole Middle School. So any wild pitches are going to advance runners, no question. This one popped up, and it's in the infield. Playable. DePaulo calls for it and snags it. Two big out gets for Q Miller, as neither advanced the runner. And now up comes the left fielder, number 10, Jack English. If Miller can somehow get out of this jam, not allowing any scores, that could be a huge momentum builder for Brookline after such a shaky start to the inning. But he misses the first couple. 2-0 the count. Three straight misses for Miller. Now one ball away from a bases-loaded walk, which would put the Timberwolves on the board. But that one right down Broadway for strike one. 3-1 hitters count to English. Swing and a miss. Boy, full count, 2 outs, bases loaded. Are you having fun yet, folks? Big payoff pitch coming here. Missed it high. Came out his hand just a smidge too early. Not as bad as some of the other misses he's had this inning, but they all count the same. Harrington trots home. English with the RBI walk. And it's a 1-0 lead for Walpole. That first pitch going to be strike one to the first baseman, number 6, Cole Blakely. Swing and a miss there. Miller attacking quick here. Swing and tipped into the glove. 3 pitches, 3 strikes. And Miller gets out of the jam, not completely unscathed, but does limit the damage. At the end of one, our score, Walpole 1, Brookline 0. For Brookline, the 4, 5, 6 hitters, Gameau, DePaulo, and Huffman due up. You know, folks, I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm about sick and tired of this season that calls itself spring, even though it absolutely isn't. It's, you know, kind of an overcast day. There's some, you know, still some sun, not as overcast as it's been some other days, but still fairly chilly. Temperatures in the low 50s. Noticeable wind and not a ton of sun to help out. Here we go to start the top of the second. Leading off for Brookline, the first baseman, number 4, Thaddeus Gameau. Lipsit's first pitch comes in high for ball 1. Gameau so far this season, batting average and slugging percentage identical at .300. On-base percentage, .317. As it takes a high ball 2. 1 steal, 5 runs scored, and 1 RBI for Gameau so far this season. That one hits the zone, strike 1. Connects on this one, lifts it out to left, and it hooks foul. Yeah, I think at some point last inning I called this the right field side. I'm so used to being on the first base side, but here in Walpole I'm on the third base side. That one just barely misses, ball 3. Looks like the catcher, Cantrell, was getting ready to throw that back in triumph, but it was ball 3 called. That one is in the zone, however. Took them 1 more pitch than they thought, but they do get Gameau out on strikes. Now batting, the shortstop, number 5, Jimmy DiPaolo. First pitch in the zone, strike 1. DiPaolo on the season so far, a slash line of .216, .293, .351. He's got 1 home run on the season, one of 2 players with 1 dinger for Brookline as he takes ball 1 there. Also tied with Fitzgerald for the team lead in runs scored with 8 to go along with 2 steals and 6 RBI as he lines a shot into right. That'll be the first base hit of the day for Brookline. And the first base runner aboard. So 1 on, 1 out. Up comes the right fielder, number 3, Eli Hoffman. A pickoff throw back to first. DiPaolo dives back safe. Throw got a little bit away, but not enough to leave an opening for the runner to take off. First pitch comes in high for ball 1. Eli Hoffman with one of the more unique slash lines you'll see, a batting average and slugging percentage of 56, but an on-base percentage of .320. Swing and a miss there, strike 1. So Hoffman actually getting on base at a higher percentage than Thaddeus Gameau, even though his batting average is below 100 and Gameau's was at 300 before his strikeout to start the inning. Hoffman hits a chopper to short, chased down but dropped by Harrington. That'll likely be scored as an E6. Would have been a close play at first if Harrington had managed to get his glove around that one. But either way, 2 runners on for Brookline. And up comes the center fielder, number 24, Wally Lawrence. First pitch in the zone, strike 1. Lawrence, so far this season, a slash line of .206, .270, .235 to go with 3 steals, 6 runs scored, and 5 RBI. That one going to miss for ball 1. I haven't had a chance to mention a lot of the players that did bat for Brookline in last year's game against Walpole. Lawrence was one of them as he takes strike 2 there. Lawrence didn't have the strongest day at the plate against Walpole last year, 0 for 3 with a walk and a run scored. But of course, Lawrence battling a rib injury for much of last baseball season. That one misses. Low for ball 2. Lawrence has been making a much bigger offensive impact this season, and in a situation like this, Brookline's certainly hoping he can have an impact and move his teammates along the base paths. Ooh, got fooled on the breaking ball. And awkward late swing puts him down on strikes. Now batting the designated hitter, number 12, Harris Hodgson. First pitch low, ball 1. Hodgson, so far this season, 1 for 11 at the plate with 2 walks, a run, and an RBI as he hits a slow roller up the first baseline foul. Breaking ball hangs high and in for ball 2. DePaulo at second, Hoffman at first, 2 down here in the top of the second. Fastball comes low and in, ball 3. That one misses inside as well, and Hodgson battles his way to a walk to load the bases. And now an interesting situation here as up comes the second baseman and freshman, number 30, Danny Carballo. First pitch going to miss, ball 1. Carballo has had a tough start to his high school career at the plate. Still looking for his first career hit. I believe he's got 2 walks over 20 plate appearances so far, as there's going to be a visit to the mound to talk with Lipset. Try and get him back under control in a bit of a tight spot here. And indeed, Danny Carballo, 0 for 18 with 2 walks, a steal, and an RBI. My personal rule for my own stat keeping is that I start showing slash line numbers after a player reaches 20 plate appearances on the season. That one misses high for ball 2. Lipset throwing hard fastballs, but missing the zone. 2-0 the count to Carballo. And he lifts that one foul. That skips right around me. Strike 1. That one low for ball 3. Danny Carballo, 1 ball away from a potential game-tying bases-loaded walk. Pops that one in foul territory, out of play. Strike 2, and for the second half inning in a row, we have got full count, 2 outs, and bases loaded. Ooh, that one hit him. After all that, it's a bases loaded hit by pitch for Danny Carballo as DePaulo comes in with the tying run. Now we cycle back to the top of the order with the left fielder, number 9, Connor Fitzgerald. Big swing and a miss for strike 1. Fitzgerald battled his way to a full count his last time up, but ultimately went down swinging. That one hits the zone as well. Lipset kind of mirroring Miller's finish to the last half inning. Bases loaded, free pass, followed up by some quick strikes, although there the pattern breaks high and in for ball 1. Hoffman at third, Hodgson at second, Carballo at first. Inside, ball 2. Fitzgerald not letting him get the out easily. and tips the fastball off his own body to stay alive at 2-2. Lipset brings a lot of heat with his fastballs. He's just had a little trouble with his control this inning. Breaking ball catches the corner for strike 3. So both pitchers found themselves in some jams. Both allow one bases loaded free pass before getting out of the inning. Going into the bottom of the second, we are tied at 1. For Walpole, it'll be their 8-9-1 hitters, Federer, Benner, and Harrington. So early signs of this game suggest that the edge will go to whichever pitcher is able to regain his control going forward. Because so far, between these two teams, one hit each. Just one base hit each. And yet, each team has gotten on the board thanks to a bases loaded free pass. Leading off for Walpole here, the third baseman, number 11, Michael Federer. First pitch from Miller, low for ball 1. That one missing low as well. Miller holding the ball a smidge too long on those fastballs. As another one low for ball 3. Miller's struggles from last inning seem to be continuing here as we get an early 3-0 hitters count. That one catches the low corner, gets it up just enough for strike 1. That one fouled off. Miller fighting his way back to a full count. Payoff pitch skips in the dirt, and it is going to be a leadoff walk after all for Federer. Now batting, the right fielder, number 23, Jack Benner. First pitch high for ball 1, a good snag by Hom, as again he's been doing a good job snagging pitches from Miller and not letting them get by him, at least so far. As that one skips in the dirt for ball 2. Hom had a little bit of trouble with passed balls in Monday's game for Brookline. Swing and a miss there. Looked like Miller kind of went off speed there. Maybe a cut fastball for strike 1. This one hit on a grounder to short. DePaulo fields it on to second for 1, on to first. Not in time for the double play, but they do get the lead runner. There's not been a bunch of plays in the field so far this game, really. There's been a lot of strikeouts and free passes. Now batting the shortstop, number 1, Shane Harrington. That one in the zone for strike 1. Harrington, his last time up, got an infield single and later came in to score on a bases-loaded walk. That one low for ball 1. Harrington has got Walpole's only base hit of the game so far, although their offense has still been applying pressure. This one golfed out to left center. That's going to head to the gap, and it's going to drop in. Lawrence keeps it in front of him, but it will be extra bases. Benner going to head for the plate as the cutoff throw is juggled. It's an RBI double for Shane Harrington. Big swing of the bat from Harrington. Now batting the second baseman, number 2, Ryan McDonald. First pitch high for ball 1. McDonald, his last time up, drew a walk, was ultimately left stranded at third. That one skips in the dirt. Another good block from Hom, but still ball 2. That one tipped. Dead ball, strike 1. Two and one, the count to McDonald. Oh, a wild pitch. One finally gets past Hom, and that'll be a free trip to third for Harrington. Yeah, Hom would have needed to be about 5 inches taller in order to snag that one. 3-1, the count to McDonald. And he's got his second walk of the day. This has been a problem for Brookline pitchers where they just have an inning or two stretch in the game where their control just isn't there. Q Miller has now issued 5 walks here through 1 1/3 innings. At the plate, the catcher, number 3, Drew Cantrell. They called a balk. Boy, things just keep getting worse for Brookline as a balk sends Harrington home and McDonald to second. This one skips in the dirt. Ball 1. McDonald thought about going to third, but ultimately stopped. That one a low for ball 2. It's really hard to say what Miller needs to do better because it's not like he's having a tendency of missing in one particular spot. He's been missing both low and high. And it's been costing him so far, as we've now got a full meeting with the infield here, as well as head coach Brendan O'Connor. Out of the mound visit, the 2-1 pitch is skied up in the air into shallow left, being tracked by DiPaolo and called off at the last second by Connor Fitzgerald as he makes the catch. Bit of a scary moment, but ultimately good fundamentals from DiPaolo, recognizing that the outfielder has the authority to call off any infielder, even the shortstop, because they're the ones coming forward instead of going back, and it's generally considered easier to make a catch when the ball is in front of you as opposed to when you're trying to go backwards to get it. And it's going to be a low. I believe the count is 2-0. At the plate, the center fielder, number 5, Cole Pileski. Pileski went down on strikes his last time up. Skies this one into left center. Fitzgerald calls for it and makes the grab for out number 3. Well, another rocky inning for Brookline, but again, Miller rebounds a bit. But at the end of two, Walpole has the lead 3-1. As we get ready to move to the third inning, I'd like to take a moment to shout out our local charity spotlight for today, the Brookline Community Foundation. For over 100 years, the Brookline Community Foundation has been a trusted partner, supporting Brookline by investing in organizations and initiatives that help create opportunity and promote equity for everyone who lives, learns, works, and plays in our community. Among the foundation's many grant programs is the BCF Scholarship Fund for Brookline High School, which provides graduating BHS students with scholarships to help fund post-secondary education. Your help is crucial to supporting these Brookline youth as they embark on the next steps in their educational journeys. Visit brooklinecommunity.org or call 617-566-4442 to learn more about the BCF Scholarship Fund for Brookline High School and how you can make a difference right here in Brookline. Once again, that's brooklinecommunity.org or call 617-566-4442. As we move to the top of the third, it'll be the 2, 3, 4 hitters due up for Brookline: Bollinger, Hom, and Gameau. At the plate, the third baseman, number 2, Hugh Bollinger, takes a high ball 1. Bollinger, his last at bat, saw one pitch and immediately popped out as he takes strike 1 there. Bollinger last year against Walpole, he went 1 for 2 with a double, 2 walks, a run, and an RBI as he takes high ball 2 there. Checks his swing there for a high ball 3. Big swing and a miss there for strike 2, and we've got a full count to Bollinger. Connects on this one, and what a stab by Federer at third. Long throw! Oh, Gameau just beat him by a fraction of a step. A highlight-worthy play at third base by Michael Federer robs Hugh Bollinger of a ball that had single written all over it. Instead, a 5-3 ground out for the first out of the inning. First pitch to Felix Hamm, going to miss outside, ball one. Hamm, his last at bat, he popped out to first in foul territory as he takes a high ball 2 there. Last year against Walpole, Hamm went 2 for 3 at the plate with a walk and 2 RBI. Fouls off the fastball there for strike 1. That fastball just catches the low corner for strike 2. 2-2 the count to Hamm. Makes contact, grounder right to short. Harrington Fields throws to first, and that's out number 2. Two down, and up comes the first baseman, number 4, Thaddeus Gameau. First pitch hits the zone, strike 1. That one in there as well, strike 2. Lipset seems firmly back in control. After a shaky second inning, Gameau connects on this one, foul up the first base side. Blakely was giving chase, but no chance to catch that one out of play. Gameau skies this one to right, but it's right at the right fielder for out number 3. For the second time in 3 innings, Brookline's bats go down in order. We move to the bottom of the third with Walpole still ahead, 3-1. It'll be the 5, 6, 7 hitters. DeGuilio, English, and Blakely coming up. So a lot of pressure on Miller at this point. You're coming off back-to-back rough innings to start this ball game, and your counterpart on the other team just had a really nice recovery inning after his own shaky inning. We'll see what Miller can do to try and rebound here in the third. Leading off, the designated hitter, number 13, Luca DeGuilio. First pitch from Miller skips in the dirt for ball 1. That one low for ball 2. That one in the zone, strike one. That one high for ball 3. This one skied up in foul territory. Bollinger's given chase, and it's out of play. A full count here to DeGuilio. Last time up, he popped out to short, now facing a full count. Fouls it off. Up the third base side. Stays alive with a full count. And that one gets away. Ball 4. Now batting the left fielder, number 10, Jack English. That one skips in the dirt, well blocked again by Hom, ball 1. English, his last time up, fought hard in a full count at bat and ultimately drew the 4th ball he needed for a bases-loaded walk, which tied the game at 1 at the time. Coach O'Connor back out to talk to Miller again. Brookline has had some struggles with their pitching depth this season. They haven't had as many different pitchers this year as I feel like they've had in years past. That might just be a feeling. I might be off the mark there, but that's certainly what I think is the case, is that pitch goes wild. It'll be both ball 2 and a free pass to second for DeGuilio. And that's kind of what's tough, is when the pitching depth isn't as much there, you want your pitchers to be going deep into the ball game. And that is, I think, going to be the end of the day for Q Miller. At 2+ innings, the shortest pitching outing for Miller so far this season is, like I said, he's been a really strong innings eater for Brookline as a starting pitcher. Went 6 2/3 in a close back-and-forth contest against Lincoln Sudbury last week, but today the control just wasn't there. And so he's going to take over in the middle of the at-bat. Interestingly enough, is going to be number 24, Wally Lawrence. They're going to send Hodgson out into the outfield to complete the trio out there in Lawrence's place. You can see Lawrence's stats on the mound so far this season. He has made 3 previous relief appearances. He's got a 1-0 win-loss record. He's pitched 4 1/3 innings in relief so far, giving up 0 earned runs with a whip of 0.92 and 3 strikeouts. It's pretty solid numbers for Wally Lawrence so far. He has actually allowed no runs credited to him to score. You know, I think he's allowed a couple of inherited runners, but overall he's been a strong reliever so far through the first few appearances. And really the strength for him is that he just throws hard and throws in the zone. Doesn't try to do anything fancy, just throws strikes and tries to give his teammates a chance to make plays behind him. The count to English is 2-0. Not often you see a pitcher take over in the middle of an at-bat, but Miller was clearly struggling with his stuff this game. And again, I only say he's struggling because, like, we've seen him play better. We know he is a good pitcher. Today just wasn't his day. And a rough first pitch from Lawrence comes in high for ball 3. Lawrence hasn't had much time to warm up or prepare to come into the game this early, especially since he was situated in the outfield when the inning started. But that one in the zone, a hard grounder up the middle, and it gets through into center field. DeGuilio going to hold at third, but it's a clean single for Jack English. Now batting, the first baseman, number 6, Cole Blakely. See, if I'm a coach, I'm okay with that. You know, you're a reliever, your team's behind, teams had trouble throwing strikes, you threw strikes. You know, sometimes hits are going to happen. You can't be scared to throw strikes. Blakely lines a shot into right, and that's going to drop in. Another run comes in for Walpole as the runner's racing down to third. Long throw, not going to get there in time. And it looks like Bollinger got hit in the foot or the ankle, but it looks like he's going to try and walk it off of the slide from English. A one-pitch single from Blakely drives in a run. DeGuilio in to score from third. 4-1, the Timberwolves now lead the Warriors. And now coming up, the third baseman, number 11, Michael Federer. Federer drew a walk and later came in to score his last time up, as looks like we're going to see a pinch runner in place of Blakely. I think I saw number 15 headed out there. Uh-oh. Dropped the roster, but now I got it. Timmy Gillis, the pinch runner for Blakely over at first. That pitch high for ball 1 to Federer. This pitch in the zone, strike 1. This one fouled to the backstop for strike 2. Federer, his last time up, drew a leadoff walk. To start the bottom of the second, was thrown out on a fielder's choice. This one skied high, might be playable for Hom. He's chasing it back, makes the catch. We mentioned before the long distance between home plate and the backstop here in Walpole. We mentioned it in the context of wild pitches, but it also plays a factor in foul balls, is more likely to stay in play. Good hustle by Hom there. First pitch there misses, ball 1. At the plate, the right fielder, number 23, Jack Benner. Swing and a miss there, strike 1. This one tipped in the glove, strike 2. Runners at the corners, one out here in the bottom of the third. Swing and a miss. Benner goes down on strikes, and like I said, this is the strength of Wally Lawrence as a pitcher. The man throws strikes. That's all he does. He just goes out there and he throws strikes. Now back to the top of the order with the shortstop, number 1, Shane Harrington. First pitch briefly pops out of the glove, but ultimately harmless, simply ball 1. Harrington has come to the plate in every inning of this game so far. Had a single in the first and scored a run. Had an RBI double in the second and came in to score on a balk. Big snag by Hom there to prevent a wild pitch, as it'll simply be high ball 2. This one lifted into shallow center. Backing up for it, Carballo makes the catch. And that will end the inning. Lawrence comes in and allows one inherited runner to score, but ultimately settles things down for the Brookline defense. At the end of 3, our score, Walpole 4, Brookline 1. Due up for Brookline will be the 5, 6, 7 hitters, DePaulo, Hoffman, and Lawrence. Landon Lipsett back on the mound for his 4th inning of work for the Timberwolves. He's had 2 innings where he's put the Brookline batters down in order, and then one that was a little shaky and ultimately resulted in a bases-loaded hit-by pitch by Danny Carballo that accounts for the only run of the game so far for Brookline. Leading off here in the top of the 4th, the shortstop, number 5, Jimmy DePaulo. First pitch high, ball 1. DePaulo with Brookline's lone base hit of the game so far, as he fouls that one off for strike 1. He also was the one who scored Brookline's lone run, as he now has sole ownership of first place on the team for runs scored, having scored his 9th. Lifts one into left center, and that one's going to drop in the gap. DePaulo going to hold at first with his 2nd single of the day. DePaulo's bat starting to catch fire here. Also had a very big day at the plate on Monday. This week proven to be a good week offensively for DePaulo. Now he's just hoping his teammates can help move him along. At the plate, the right fielder, number 3, Eli Hoffman. First pitch, inside ball 1. Hoffman, his last time up, reached on an E6. Might have been scored as an infield hit. Right now I'm scoring it as an E6. We'll see. Hoffman lines a shot to right, and it's going to curve foul for strike one. Breaking ball catches the inside corner. Strike two. DePaulo at first. Nobody out here in the top of the fourth. Hoffman chops that one foul to stay alive at 1-2. That one in the zone, strike three. Looked like Lipset went right back to the low inside corner and hit it perfectly for that strikeout pitch. Now at the plate, the center fielder, number 24, Wally Lawrence, a pickoff throw. A bit close there, but DePaulo does dive back safe. Lawrence went down on strikes his last time up. That one going to miss outside, ball one. This one fouled to the backstop, strike one. Breaking ball drops in well from Lipset for strike two. It's wild. He's got this really powerful fastball, but then he'll drop this slow breaking ball in on you when you least expect it. But Lawrence golfs this breaking ball into center field. Diving catch is made. Oh my goodness. What a catch from Cole Pileski for out number two. Now batting, the designated hitter, number 12, Harris Hodgson. Hodgson takes strike one. So we've really seen some great plays from the Walpole defense behind Lipset. Two plays that I would say robbed Brookline of a potential base hit as Hodgson takes strike two to the inside corner. And boy, if that doesn't just help build your confidence as a pitcher to just keep throwing your stuff when the fielders are making plays behind you. Hodgson slices it foul. Going to go over my head and out of play as he stays alive. Hodgson, his last time up, drew a walk, but behind in the count here at 0-2. DePaulo taking off. Oh, and Cantrell was going to throw down to second to try and catch him, but it did not matter as the breaking ball from Lipset caught the high inside corner for strike three. Brookline gets their second base hit of the day, but can't do anything more than that. We move to the bottom of the fourth with Walpole still ahead 4-1. It'll be the 2, 3, 4 hitters. McDonald, Cantrell, and Pileski due up here. Lawrence back on the hill for his second inning of relief work. Gave up 2 singles to start his day, which also brought in a run. Brought in an inherited runner. But then he put down the next 3 batters in order on 2 pop-outs and a strikeout. All right, warm-up's done. And here we go for the bottom of the 4th. Leading off, the second baseman, number 2, Ryan McDonald. First pitch hits the bottom corner for strike 1. Looks like a bit of a breaking ball from Lawrence. Usually he throws mainly fastballs. That fastball misses low for ball 1. This one hit, grounder to second. Carballo fields it clean, throw to first in time for out number 1. And again, this is why you just throw strikes. You know, you might give up some hits, but ultimately you just trust in the fielders to make the plays behind you. First pitch there, strike 1 to the catcher, number 3, Drew Cantrell. Breaking ball again catches the low corner for strike 2. Lawrence has a breaking ball that doesn't drop a bunch, so it's kind of subtle, but it makes it look like it's going to drop lower, but then it just kind of stays in the zone. Hard grounder here, taken off 2 hops by DePaulo. Throw to first in time for out number 2. Two down here. Up comes the center fielder, number 5, Cole Pileski. Pileski had the highlight-worthy diving snag out in center field to rob Lawrence of a hit in the top half of the inning. Now they face off as pitcher and hitter. First pitch from Lawrence skips in the dirt for ball 1. And the next one flies high for ball 2. Lawrence a little wild to start this one against Pileski. And the next one misses low, ball 3. Wonder if maybe Lawrence knows that this is the guy that robbed him and he just wants it too much for payback's sake. Because the biggest strength of Lawrence as a pitcher is that he just doesn't really get in his own head. Like I said, he just throws strikes. That one's going to be lined out to right by Pileski. Hoffman going to try to play at first. An admirable effort from, I think it's Hoffman out and right, but I'm not sure. I think it's still Hoffman out and right, but either way, a single for Pileski. Respectable effort, but not there in time. Now batting, the designated hitter, number 13, DeGuilio, as he takes a high ball 1. That one misses low and in, ball 2. And that one misses low, ball 3. Lawrence starting to lose his control here. And that one's going to miss low. It's a 4-pitch walk. Some uncharacteristic loss of control here for Lawrence. And now he'll be facing the first batter he faced last inning in the 3rd in Jack English. That is just the 3rd walk that Lawrence has issued all season, as that pitch skips in the dirt for ball 1. English got a single his last time up after Lawrence took over midway through his at-bat. Finds the strike zone there for strike 1. Runners at first and second, 2 down here in the bottom of the 4th. Walpole leading Brookline 4-1. That one gets away from Hom. The wild pitch allows each runner to advance 1 base. Pileski to 3rd. DeGuilio to 2nd. 2-1, the count to English. This one fouled over the backstop, strike 2. Swing and a miss, a big strike 3 get for Lawrence as he gets out of the jam. Things almost fell apart for Lawrence in his relief effort there. You know, sometimes as a pitcher, you're teetering on that knife's edge of losing control of the game, and Lawrence able to keep his control there. Brookline's still within reasonable striking distance here, but they've got to find a way to solve the puzzle of Landon Lipsett, who comes back out for his 5th inning of work, as outside of one shaky inning where a single, a reach on error, a walk, and a hit by pitch generated Brookline's only run. Outside of that inning, Lipsett has put down 9 of 10 batters he has faced through the 1st, 3rd, and 4th innings. It'll be the 9-1-2 hitters, Carballo, Fitzgerald, and Bollinger, due up here in the top of the 5th. Leading off for Brookline here in the top of the 5th, the second baseman, number 30, Danny Carballo. First pitch fouls it. 0-1 the count to Carballo. Second pitch catches the high corner for strike 2. Carballo got the bases-loaded hit by pitches last time up, but he's behind in the count here at 0-2. A late swing, and he catches a piece of it to stay alive. Saw that patented Lipsit breaking ball coming. It's made a fool of a couple of hitters today, but Carballo able to just get a piece of it. Carballo makes contact here. A chopper over to third. Federer's throw to first is in time for out number 1. Now batting, the left fielder, number 9, Connor Fitzgerald. First pitch misses inside, ball 1. Fitzgerald has struck out twice so far today. Now lifts one into right center. That's going into the gap for extra bases. Fitzgerald on his horse, down to 2. He's got a chance for 3, and he's going to go for it. Connor Fitzgerald coming in standing up with what I believe is his second triple of the season. And indeed, that is the second 3-bagger for Connor Fitzgerald here in 2026, and a big jolt of offense for Brookline. Now the only question is, can they bring him in? At the plate, the third baseman, number 2, Hugh Bollinger. First pitch skips in the dirt, well blocked by Cantrell. Ball 1. Bollinger so far today, he has popped out to short and grounded out to third. Almost had a base hit, if not for a great diving play by Federer his last time up, as that one misses high and away for ball 2. And again, remember, anything gets past Cantrell, and with the long distance from the plate to the backstop, that is a near guaranteed run score. Bollinger fouls that one off. 2-1 the count. Bollinger, the team leader in RBI with 7, but it's been a little while since he's gotten one. Hits a chopper over to third. Federer fields it. He's going to go to first. Gets him in time for out number 2, but Fitzgerald is going to come home on the RBI ground out. Bollinger did his job there. Got his teammate home. Now at the plate, the catcher, number 13, Felix Hom, as he takes strike 1. Very interesting that they didn't have the infield pulled in on that one. Kind of speaks to how confident they are in the lead that they have, as Hom awkwardly fouls that one off for strike 2. Walpole clearly prioritizing getting outs as opposed to preventing one run from scoring when they're up 3. Hom swings and catches air for strike 3, and that will end the inning. Brookline gets a second run on the board. Going into the bottom of the 5th, the score, Walpole 4, Brookline 2. But, you know, it goes to show it's not impossible for Brookline to get more runs on the board. And now the question will be if Wally Lawrence and the Brookline defense can continue to hold off Walpole and give their offense a chance to try and keep clawing back. It'll be the 7-8-9 hitters, Blakely, Federer, and Benner, due up for Walpole. Wally Lawrence had a little bit of trouble with his control in the 4th inning. Allowed just his 3rd walk of the season. And a wild pitch put runners at 2nd and 3rd before he got the inning-ending strikeout. A relatively low-scoring game thus far at 4-2. But anything can happen between now and the end of the ball game. I mean, heck, if Walpole scores 8 runs in this inning, the game will just end. Leading off, the first baseman, number 6, Cole Blakely, as it takes ball 1. Blakely got an RBI single his last time up as he takes ball 2 there. Before that, I believe he struck out to end the 1st inning. So 1 for 2 so far with an RBI. That one in the zone, strike 1. Hard grounder up the middle, and it takes a weird hop over to Paulo's head. That one had a 6-3 ground out written all over it, but with that weird hop, I'm going to score that a single. You know, I'll double check it later on Game Changer, but personally, I would score that a single, because what is DePaulo supposed to do off a weird hop like that? Just went off the lip of the infield grass, looked like. First pitch to Michael Federer, high and in for ball 1. Federer popped out to the catcher his last time up. This is high ball 2. That one high and in as well for ball 3. Lawrence starting to slip into the problem with control he had the last inning. A 3-0 hitters count here to Federer, who's drawn 1 walk already today. And that pitch in there for strike 1. Blakely at first, no pinch runner this time. Lawrence steps off the rubber. Resetting himself for the 3-1 pitch. Misses inside, ball 4. Federer with his 2nd free pass of the day. Now batting the right fielder, number 23, Jack Benner. Unless they're getting ready for a pinch hitter. Might be the case. We see coach talking to the ump, and it will be a pinch hitter. Number 21. Batting in place of Benner. And Lawrence going to step off the rubber to check on the runners and keep them honest as the pinch hitter, number 21, Asher Kingman, showing bunt that time. Pulls back as Lawrence's first throw is low for ball 1. Runners at first and second, nobody out. Shows bunt and fouls it off. Trying to go for the sacrifice play to try and move 2 runners into scoring position with just 1 out. Corner infielders pulled in. Gameau way in from first base. Whiffs on that bunt attempt, strike 2. So likely at this point, Kingman will just try to swing away with 2 strikes, but you never know. He does stay with bunt, lays it down. Lawrence comes in to get it. Throw to first in time, but Kingman does his job. That's the second game this week where there's been a batter facing 2 strikes, and they still stuck with the sac bunt. Now with runners at second and third and 1 out, we go to the top of the batting order with the shortstop, number 1, Shane Harrington. First pitch, and he rockets one deep out to center. This will clear the bags and will allow Harrington to get way deep into the bases. He's rounding second. He's heading for third. He might have a chance for an inside the Parker, and he's going to try for it. The throw is not going to be in the time. Shane Harrington, what a day he's having. A 3-run inside the park home run. Harrington now just a triple away from hitting for the cycle for Walpole as they break open their lead at 7-2. Now at the plate for Walpole, the second baseman, number 2, Ryan McDonald. First pitch going to miss low for ball 1, and that's going to be tough to bounce back from for Wally Lawrence. The first runs, credit to him all season, as that one misses outside for ball 2. And again, it doesn't matter how many times you get hit. You have to keep throwing strikes. You can't let that get to you. As Lawrence shaky on this one against McDonald so far, 3-0 the count. That one in the zone, strike 1. This one a grounder, and Lawrence trying to snag it himself. Fell down, got back up, and got it to first in time for the out. Lawrence had to really hustle for that one. But he does make the play. Now batting the catcher, number 3, Drew Cantrell. Breaking ball drops low, ball 1. Lawrence needed to get that out. If you give up a 3-run home run and then the next ball comes at you and you're not able to make the play despite that kind of hustle, that could really shake you up. Lawrence misses the first 2 pitches to Cantrell, 2-0 the count. This one lifted out to left, and it's going to curve just foul. Two and one. Now the count to Cantrell. 2 outs, bases empty. Walpole leading Brookline 7-2. Skies this one in foul territory. Gameau giving chase. out of play. It'll simply be strike two. Cantrell, so far today, he has walked, flown out to left, and grounded out to short. So 0 for 2 so far with a walk. That one skips in the dirt, and we've got a full count. That one misses outside, and it is the second walk of the day for Cantrell. Now batting the center fielder, number 5, Cole Pileski. First pitch to Pileski, inside, ball 1. That one misses inside, ball 2. Pileski so far today, he has struck out, flown out to left, and singled, so 1 for 3. Skips in the dirt, gets away from Hom, and on the wild pitch, Cantrell advances to second. This one fouled off for strike 1. Pileski swinging on a 3-0 count. This one fouled off and out of play once again as Lawrence gets his way back to a full count. Some action going on in the bullpen for Brookline as Lawrence prepares for the payoff pitch. This one lifted deep out to center, but this one is going to be catchable for Connor Fitzgerald out in center, and that will end the inning. But a big shot to deep center for a 3-run inside the Parker from Shane Harrington breaks this game open. At the end of 5, our score, Walpole 7, Brookline 2. It'll be the 4, 5, 6 hitters, Gameau, DiPaolo, and Hoffman due up for Brookline this inning. Lipsett staying out on the mound for his 6th inning of work. As really outside of some shaky control in the 2nd inning and that one big triple from Fitzgerald last inning, he's been pretty dominant on the hill. Leading off for Brookline here in the top of the sixth, the first baseman, number 4, Thaddeus Gameau. First pitch in the zone, strike one. Gameau, so far this game, he has struck out and flown out to right, as that one misses for ball one. Lines this one up the middle for a leadoff single. Gameau, the single machine, continues with his flurry of one-baggers this season. Now batting the shortstop, number 5, Jimmy DiPaolo. DiPaolo 2 for 2 with a pair of singles and a run scored today. That one misses to the outside, ball one. Breaking ball drops in that time, strike one. That one hits the zone as well, strike two. Got action going in both teams' bullpens at the moment. DiPaolo fouls that one off. Stay alive at 1-2. That one misses. I think that was just inside for ball two. Breaking ball, and this time DiPaolo swings, pops one up to center, and it'll be caught for out number one. So DiPaolo can't quite go 3 for 3. One out in the inning. Now batting the right fielder, number 3, Eli Hoffman. First pitch catches the inside corner for strike one. Hoffman, so far today, he has reached on an E6 and struck out. Now the question, did he go around on that one? I think they said yes, he did. 0-2 the count to Hoffman. That one high for ball one. Breaking ball in the zone, strike three. That high to middle breaking ball that Lipset likes to bring has been fooling many a Brookline hitter so far today. Now batting the pitcher, number 24, Wally Lawrence. First pitch, he fouls it off for strike one. Lawrence, so far today, he has struck out and flown out to center. 0 for 2 so far. That one misses, ball one. That one high for ball two. That one hits the zone, strike two. 2-2 the count to Lawrence. And can't time up the breaking ball there, strike 3. We move to the bottom of the 6th. The score, Walpole 7, Brookline 2. It'll be the 5, 6, 7 hitters, DeGuilio, English, and Blakely. For now, it looks like Brookline will be sticking with Lawrence for another inning of work here. You know, I mentioned during the Weymouth game on Monday that one of the things about high school baseball is that a lot of weeks you're playing 3 games. So you really don't want to go more than 2 pitchers into a game if you don't necessarily have the depth to handle that. Because you think about it, you use 1 starter and 1 reliever each game, that's 6 pitchers. So if you don't have more than 6 viable pitchers on your roster, then you really want to keep the number of pitchers you use under control so that you have as many eligible as possible deeper into the week. Brookline, of course, will be playing at Sharon on Saturday, the rare Saturday game. But for now, we're focused in here on this Walpole game. Leading off, the designated hitter, number 13, Luca DeGuilio. Swings and misses for strike 1. That's a low ball 1. Breaking ball drops low for ball 2. This one rocketed out to deep right, and it's going to go over Hoffman's head, chasing after it desperately as DeGuilio rounds second, heads for third, and beats the throw there, standing up. A leadoff triple for DeGuilio. And that might just be the end of the day on the mound for Lawrence. You know, he gave a strong effort, but the Walpole bats just a little too much. Lawrence took over back in the 3rd inning, so he ends up pitching 3 innings, giving up for now 3 runs. Now taking over on the hill for Brookline, number 29, Bryce Hellendrung. So Brookline does go to their 3rd pitcher of the day. Hellendrung making just his 2nd career pitching appearance here in his freshman season. Last one, he pitched 2 innings and gave up 1 earned run. I think he gave up some unearned ones as well. A whip of 3 and 1 strikeout. Yeah, he gave up 7 runs, but only one of them earned his last pitching appearance. He'll be facing the same batter, who ironically was the first batter that Lawrence faced when he came in the 3rd inning, in Jack English. First pitch to English, swing and a miss for strike 1. That one comes in high for ball 1. Runner at 3rd, nobody out here in the bottom of the 6th. That pitch gets away, low and away, specifically for ball 2. Hom keeping track of it, though. That pitch misses to the outside, ball 3. That one tipped away for strike 2. Swing and a miss, and Hellendrung starts off with a payoff pitch strikeout. Now batting, the first baseman, number 6, Cole Blakely. First pitch, hits a dribbler up 3rd, and Bollinger juggles it and can't go anywhere with it. He was thinking about the throw home before he had the ball secured, and it backfires there. Guilio in to score as the first pitch is going to miss for ball 1 there. 8-2 now the Walpole lead, as that'll be a 4th run credited to Lawrence. Federer drops one foul up the 3rd base side for strike 1. Michael Federer, I believe, is 0 for 1 with a pair of walks so far today. Runner at first, 1 out, an attempted pickoff throw, but Blakely dives back safe. That one misses, ball 2. This one lifted into center field, coming in for a diving catch made by Connor Fitzgerald. Boy, we've seen some real web gems today. Couple of them by Walpole, and then Brookline gets one there as Connor Fitzgerald robs Michael Federer of a potential base hit. Now back at the plate is Jack Benner. As I've kind of lost track of the count here. I think it might be 1-1. Pickoff throw, and again, Blakely dives back safe. Benner back in the box after Kingman took his spot his last time through the order. That one gonna miss. 2-down runner at first here in the bottom of the 6th. And that one's going to miss. I had my count wrong. It was 3 balls, as that's now a walk for Benner. And now coming to the plate. If he hits a triple, he'll get the cycle. It's the shortstop, number 1, Shane Harrington. First pitch going to miss for ball 1. Harrington has singled, doubled, and homered so far today. That one's going to miss. Ball 2. Harrington 3 for 4 at the plate, as that one catches the low corner for strike 1. That one high for ball 3. Harrington 1 ball away from loading the bases. And he loads the bases. You know, understandably a scary hitter to be facing, but now with the bases juiced, Hellendrung has got to throw strikes, as up comes the second baseman, number 2, Ryan McDonald. And indeed, the first pitch does hit the zone for strike 1. That one catches the high corner for strike 2. Chases the breaking ball low for strike 3. Hellendrung gets out of the inning with minimal damage. At the end of 6, the score, Walpole 8, Brookline 2. Brookline down to their last 3 outs, and it will be the 8-9-1 hitters, Hodgson, Carballo, and Fitzgerald coming up. Lipset back out on the hill, trying to finish the complete game. Jason Hellendrung in the live chat saying, great catch by Connor. Referring to that great diving catch by Connor Fitzgerald. You know, it's been a tough day for Brookline out here, but there have still been a few bright spots, and Connor Fitzgerald certainly had 2 of the brightest with his triple to right center that set him up to score Brookline's second run of the ball game, and also that diving catch out in center. Jimmy DiPaolo also has had a solid day at the plate with 2 base hits. But overall, a tough day for Brookline as they head into the final inning. Leading off, the left fielder, number 12, Harris Hodgson, swings and misses for strike 1. Hodgson, so far today, he pops that one up in foul territory, being tracked by Federer, and he's got it for out number 1. One down, and up comes the second baseman, number 30, Danny Carballo. And this might actually be the end of the day for Lipset. Looks like they are going to sub him out after 6 1/3 innings of work. Lipset, the pitcher, on credit for the win, assuming Brookline does not make a miraculous comeback here in the 7th. He finishes the day with just 2 runs allowed, and I think only one of them was earned. They're going to put Shane Harrington on the mound to try and finish the job. Not sure what the coach saw that made him decide to sub out Lipset after the 1 out, but it must have been a pitch count thing is my best guess. You know, you're up 6. You know, there's not a shutout or a no-hitter on the line or anything like that. You know, you let your pitcher come out and not violate any pitch count rules and save his arm for the next one. Strong day for Lipset regardless. Now stepping in for Brookline, the second baseman, number 30, Danny Carballo. First pitch in the zone, strike 1. Carballo, so far today, he had the bases loaded hit by pitch to drive in a run, as that one's going to miss for ball 1. And then he grounded out to third his last time up as he takes strike 2. That one skips away, ball 2. Fouls it off and stays alive at 2-2. And another foul ball. Carballo giving Harrington a fight here as the first batter he faces out of the bullpen. But that one is going to catch the outside corner for strike 3. Brookline down to their last out as up comes the left fielder, number 9, Connor Fitzgerald. First pitch misses low for ball 1. Fitzgerald 1 for 3 so far today with a triple, a run scored, and a pair of strikeouts as he lifts one into shallow center. It's caught, and that is your ball game. The final score, the Walpole High Timberwolves 8, the Brookline High Warriors 2. Brookline falls to 3-9 on the season, while Walpole improves to 10-1. And with their 10th win in the books, Walpole officially automatically clinches a playoff berth in the state tournament. I mean, they had the top spot in the rankings, so it was pretty much a guarantee anyway. But with a 10th win, they are guaranteed at least a 500 record by the end of the season, even if they lost everything from here on out. Well, that is going to do it for this one. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. Thank you all so much for tuning in today. Remember, if you enjoyed this broadcast, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to stay tuned for Saturday's upcoming stream at Sharon. Thank you to all those who brought the good vibes in the live chat today. If there's anything you'd like to say after the live stream is concluded, you can say it in the comment section down below. You can also go down below to the description section of this video, where you can find the link and phone number for our local charity spotlight, the Brookline Community Foundation. You can also find some links related to me, my personal website, jessesports.com, my email, as well as my social media accounts on Instagram and Facebook. I'll be posting a few highlights from today's game on this channel here on YouTube, as well as on my Instagram and Facebook later tonight. Walpole 8, Brookline 2, from Walpole Middle School in Walpole, Massachusetts. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. Thank you all for watching, and have a good night.